Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode number 107 for the week of May 6th, 2013. I'm Ryan Higgins, who's here with me this week.
Rox Haggart.
Omar.
Bryce.
And Charlie.
And Toby should be joining us shortly, so he's going to jump in here probably mid-podcast. He's running late, so we're going to go ahead.
He's not running late. He's finishing up the Miami and Chicago game.
Ah, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He likes them Bulls in heat.
Yeah, apparently. Brock totally stole my joke from earlier.
Yes,
Damn.
yes, he did.
What an ass.
I don't give a shit.
What an ass.
Aww.
For those wondering, yes, we were going to talk a lot about Iron Man 3 that opened up this past weekend. That is going to be the back half of the podcast, probably around the 30-minute mark or so.
Back half.
I assume we'll talk about that for the whole rest of the episode. So if you want to only hear about Iron Man, skip ahead about 30 minutes. If you don't want to hear about Iron Man at all, stop when we start talking about Iron Man, because that'll be the end.
Just fast forward till you hear us arguing, and then you've reached Iron Man.
Yeah, we argue every 5 minutes.
But you really don't want to skip through all the exciting, titty booby talk that, obviously we're going to be adding.
Well, we have a few questions. Talk a little bit about Free Comic Day, which was this past weekend. Actually, let's talk about Free Comic Day first. No, let's read these questions first.
Fucking A.
No, okay. We'll talk about Free Comic Day first, and then we'll do some questions. Free Comic Day was this last weekend. For those who don't know, that is a once-a-year sort of holiday, quote-unquote, for comic book stores where we give away a bunch of free comics to customers. Some provided by the companies, some just people. We just give away free shit. Like, we gave away a bunch of the free Image First #1s, like Saga and Fatale and things like that.
Well,
the Image
they weren't
First
free to you. You still, they were something offered separate from Free Comic Day.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do whatever we want. It's free. We don't even have to participate if we don't want to. But someone does ask me about the specifics on it, which I'll get into that in a little bit. So this is the 11th year of Free Comic Day, I believe.
Has it been that?
It was.
Damn it! Stop making me feel old.
It was the year that it started. The year Spider-Man came out, which was 2002. Is that right? 01? 02? This is the 11th or 12th year of Free Comic Day.
The internet in front
I suppose
of
I could look it up, but it's not that important. Anyway, I've been here for every single one of these.
Yeah.
And every year it is bigger and better than the last. Now here comes Toby. Every year is bigger and better than the last, and this year is no exception. A couple years ago, we actually changed our style. We used to just give away basically everything for free. And while that was cool, it just led to people taking a bunch of random shit. The last few years, we've actually kind of limited it, which is pretty common between most stores now.
Yeah, I haven't heard of any store, like every one I've talked to and people in different areas, they all say, yeah, mine was limit this, mine was limit that.
Yeah, I mean, we do 5 free and then 5 more free with any purchase, and I find that's pretty reasonable. A few stores are telling me they only give away 2.
I heard that.
I know another local store really didn't do anything for Free Comic Day. A few stores give away like a pack, so you don't get any choice in what you get. But I figure 5, and to me, it only costs a couple bucks. I mean, people don't realize it. A lot of people don't realize it. But comic stores actually pay for the comic books. So let me see if we can find that question here, because someone does ask about.
And I just have to bring this up because I give you props for basically spreading it out to libraries and stuff as well.
Oh, yeah, we give a big stack to the Cupertino Library. The Sunnyvale Library, for some reason, which is the city we actually live in, or have the store in, won't take them for some reason because they have our store name on them because we print up little labels. But the Cupertino one's like, I don't give a fuck. Like, sure, we'll give them away. So that goes in the hands of thousands of kids throughout the course of the year, and so it's super cool. It's from Peter. He says, how does Free Comic Day work for shops? Do you pay for the books? Are you able to return any leftover stock, etc.? And that's what I wanted to answer. So we do pay, generally between, on the low end, 20-25 cents a copy. On the high end, some of these are 35, 40, 50 cents a book, and per issue that we're giving away. And this last couple of years, I've taken a pretty hard line in the sand that I won't pay for more than I won't buy a book if it's more than 30 cents. So,
unless you order one for me.
Well, yeah. So, Charlie, I'm very sorry, but your Tick-Free Comic Day this year was like 40 cents. It defeats the purpose of the Free Comic Day when stores are being asked to spend so much money when in years past most of the companies were able to do this. Everyone is supposed to take a loss on Free Comic Day. It's not, I mean, it remains a profitable day for in-store sales, but you give away the books for free, so we're taking a loss on those books. The companies give the books away, but you're giving away potentially millions of comics to potential readers.
Right, but a lost leader.
Right, exactly. You're doing this
You lose a quarter to gain $3.
Sure, right. That's the hope. Marvel gives away Infinity #1, and hopefully everyone that read that buys the book. That and maybe some of them wouldn't. I don't know if they will, but that's the hope.
I'm actually wondering for like the smaller press if that's part of the reason the books have started to get a little more expensive, because as you said, back when Free Comic Day launched, even like the big two didn't have any new content. It was all like Ultimate Spider-Man #1 and stuff like that, and it's been shifting more and more to new content for Free Comic Day.
A lot of them, although this year DC, for the first time in a number of years, did not have original content. It was a reprint with a reprint cover even, so that's doubly disappointing for DC. Marvel stepped it up. Dark Horse stepped it up with a Star Wars and Avatar and Killjoys, which is the new Gerard Way comic, and what was the fourth book? They had 2 flip books, which they really stepped it up. Image did a brand new Walking Dead story, so that's huge. That's awesome. Huge.
Yeah, that's big.
There was a few others.
What was the big winner that like I know you're kind of talking about a few of them, but the one that everyone was asking for, but it was gone already in like the first hour?
Star Wars?
The Star Wars ones, for the first time in years, we ran out of very quickly. Normally, they don't. I think it's a flip because it's Star Wars and Avatar: The Last Airbender, an original story as well, a Korra story. Yeah. So I got one for you, Toby. Don't worry.
He's all mother.
So
getting mad already.
So those ones were really popular. The Marvel one, while the story was cool, I think they missed their mark on what should be in a Free Comic Day book.
Yeah,
because while we like Thanos, most people, regardless of him being at the end of Avengers, most people don't know who Thanos is. So the cover was just like Thanos' face, and most people were like, who the fuck's this?
Yeah.
It should have been Cap, Thor, and Iron Man on the cover, doing some Avenger-y thing, right? And the story had nothing to do with Thanos or the Avengers. So
it was like minions and shit.
It was a perfectly fine story, but not the best Free Comic Day book. Superman, the DC one, while cool, it was a Jim Lee Superman picture, so that's awesome, but it was a reprint picture from one of their variant covers.
It was Action Comics #1.
Yeah, or is it Action or Justice League?
No, it was Action #1.
And then the inside story was a reprint of the Jeff Johns Zod Superman story, which is a good thing, but it's still a reprint. So it's like they should have taken Jim Lee and Jeff Johns and brand new story from Marvel and combined the two of them, and then you would have had because the Marvel story was good, but no recognizable characters, no recognizable names. The DC one was recognizable names and characters, but the story was a reprint.
So you're saying we needed an amalgam for
exactly.
That was a good
That would be an interesting way to just save on money. Just print one book for both the big.
Yeah,
I think that was like
into the flip book.
Yeah.
That was like the closest to Ryan saying Marvel did better than DC. That's the closest.
No, Marvel usually
That's all
does.
we're gonna get.
Except for the years. I mean, normally it's very equal, and sometimes Marvel does beat DC for the Free Comic Day book because, like, they had the War of the Superman prequel a couple of years ago, which was like, wow, no one cared about that. Marvel usually does really step it up, and this year's book was really good, but I think by having no recognizable characters in the book or on the cover, I think that was a mistake.
For those of you interested in character development, Mr. Higgins, now that Bendis is off of Avengers and all Avengers things, Mr. Higgins is going to slowly have character development towards liking Marvel again, but it'll take 10 years. So just keep an eye out for it.
He's still putting in his bin with all the rest of the Avengers because he can't break his run.
See,
I haven't bought since the last Bendis Avengers issues. New Avengers and on, I never bought. I don't want a single one of them.
You're not buying the Hickman?
No, I'm done. No, that's over.
That's a mistake.
The main book's not that good.
That's a separate argument.
New Avengers is really... Anyway, okay, that's a separate argument. But sorry, go ahead, Charlie.
You're wrong.
Well, I was just going to say, it's sort of like this interesting thing because the DC book was totally intended for new readers, people who aren't reading these books already. They put in a nice looking cover to people who probably wouldn't recognize that if you're just going for new readers. They have the Last Son of Krypton trade paperback readily available right now, which is the beginning of that story in that book. And it's sort of like this interesting balancing act because the Marvel book was specifically geared towards comic book people. It was a success for basically the excitement level for that book of people already reading Marvel comics.
Right.
Yeah, it seems like really that was all that was picked up by like all the bigs, like the comic blogs or whatever, be it CBR,
because it was a new story.
Yeah,
and the prequel to it's the start of the big event.
Sure.
So,
But I mean, DC did an original Jeff Johns Superman story about Zod, a month before the movie. That would have been huge too. So
yeah.
Did anybody come through like how was it IDW that does Mouse Guard? Or?
No, it's Arcana.
Archaea.
Archaea.
That's local San Jose.
Arcana.
Archaea.
Yeah,
they're a local
there you
San
go.
Jose company. We should be like jock and sporting them.
Are they?
Yeah.
What?
I think they're in San Jose, aren't they?
You think it's Slave Labor Graphics?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
It's right in their
San
own
Jose.
backyard. They're owned by Francis Ford.
Yeah, there you go, Brian.
nice. Yes. Amazing.
I'm sorry. It was one of my favorite lines from the last podcast.
One thing about that, they both start with Z's and they both end with opes. So
Hey, look, I don't care.
Omar's is a little bit more drastic with
Yes.
our slave. There's no way. No,
We're laughing, mostly with you, not
no,
at
you're not.
you.
You're laughing at me.
Oh, good. That was good.
I don't know, but people like you now on the forums, it seems. People say they look forward to you more than anything.
Good. Bring some light to this podcast.
But
No, was there anybody that came through like a cool ass little like
yeah, well, no, I mean
hardcover or some fun
no,
shit like that?
not this year. The Mouse Guard book, goes really quick, but I don't get that many of them because again, price point. It's one of the more expensive.
I'm
ones.
sorry, they're over 40 cents.
I did order them, but but you're talking.
I'm kidding. I'm just fucking with you.
I mean, millions and millions of copies. It's definitely.
I was the butt of all the jokes before the podcast. Now I get to turn into somebody else.
Yeah. So. But I don't want to make it sound like it's not successful or not a great thing. It is. I think this year was a little bit of a weak selection wise, but really good turnout. I mean, our sales were up 10% from last year on Free Comic Day. We don't run a sale
There's all
either.
the quarter books.
We did sell a lot of quarter books. We don't run a sale either. I have people say, "Oh, how was the sale?" I'm like, "We don't do a sale, and we still do twice a regular Wednesday in on Saturday, and it's." It's the day goes by like I blinked and it was over. I mean, because I wish I saw one of the local or one of the shops online took like a 3-hour like a video and did it in like a minute of like all the customers. And I wish I'd set up our cameras to do that too because that would have been great. Because it's just like ringing people up nonstop for 2-3 straight hours just doesn't stop. Just the line just continuously wraps. Because everyone was like, yeah, sure, I'll buy a couple things. Sold a bunch of buttons and just little knickknacks, but then sold a lot of just regular comics too. So it's about.
I love how you kept trying to push people back. You bought something so you can go get 5 more free comics.
Well, yeah, I mean, we ended up with a bunch of stuff left over. So even though I didn't order as high as I normally do, we still had stuff left over. So I don't know. I mean, and that's telling when I would tell people, oh, you only got 4, you can get 5, and a lot of people were like, nah, I don't really care. Or hey, you bought 5, or you bought something, you got 5, you can get 5 more. Most people were like, nah, I don't really care. And to me, that's telling that the selection was not that good. Because previous years, people were fucking all over that shit.
Yeah, that one. That one William Shatner story that was awesome.
I was just going to say there were 2 things I noticed from previous years.
Did you go to other stores, Charlie?
No, not this year.
Did anyone here go to any other stores? Because I never can, but I thought you've gone.
Oh, I've gone
Normally-
around. Not this year,
Okay.
but I
was
have in the
near
past,
another
but-
store at some point, but I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going to go in that
But
store.
I know, like previous years, we had like a table set up over here and a table over there for like the kids' books, and you were smart enough to not show both flip sides of the covers to have all that confusion this year, and I think that helped a bit.
Well,
And-
it just caused everyone to ask where the Star Wars book
Yeah,
was because I put
exactly.
the Avatar cover out.
But I guess sort of like the other thing that I've noticed from when Free Comic Book Day first started, like everybody else, I was just like, free comics, I'll grab all these and I'll give them a try and whatnot. Yet because I never like bring back any Free Comic Book Day comics to the shop, obviously, but every once in a while at home, I'm like literally going through one of my stacks or whatnot, and I'll just come across this huge stack of like Free Comic Book Day issues that I
And they're all trash.
exactly.
Yeah.
It just
That's all the stuff I give out on Twitter, or I send to like some of my like affiliate writers that I, let go to cons and rep and whatever.
yeah.
Hey, man, when you get more of those Adventure Time DVDs, hook a brother up, okay?
Okay, for sure. Oh, speaking of, so doing cruises, so I was talking with Sean a little bit, one of our homies of the shop.
Yeah.
He's a regular and clicks in comics. Well,
I had him help me out for a few minutes there.
really?
I was just so freaking swamped. I'm like, hey, you know where stuff is. Go tell this guy where the stuff is. Go get
Awesome.
these bags of boards for me.
he
He's
went to,
like,
I think,
okay.
like 4 or 5 shops, and he said the coolest thing besides, just cruising around, like all the different shops and seeing just like how the masses came out. I think Kenneth Rocafort was at Falco.
Yeah, at Legends. Yeah.
Yeah, but no one even knew he was there.
Yeah. I heard
like,
that
he was able to like talk to him for like fucking 20 minutes.
I heard that day that he was there.
No one knew.
That's a pretty damn big name,
dude. He's fucking
That
huge.
was a place I was close to.
Oh, was it?
He was huge. Yeah, I mean, he is huge. He's fucking on the rise. Like,
I would have seen what he was drawing in his little art book.
So
he was
I
doing
would have
stuff,
gone somewhere
commissions for
else if
everybody.
I had heard that.
yeah, no, he was doing commissions and shit for everybody because it was such like a sad day. It was like Image. Like, what's it called? What's that Image event thing that we're gonna still get?
Oh, Image Expo.
It was like Image Expo. I'm just fucking standing around, fucking with my dick out, just fucking jacking off in front of Hickman, and we're just like jacking off together, talking for like an hour. And he's like, I feel embarrassed that I'm talking with him for this long, but it's like no
There's
one's
no one
here.
there.
There's like 3 or 4 people that walk by and ask for his autograph, and they're too embarrassed to talk with him. And he's like, cool.
You know, I may have to send you, Omar, if you're not doing anything that day, because I think everyone else has to work regular jobs normally. Maybe Toby, you can go up too if you can find time
What
day
day
off.
is it?
Huh? This is Tuesday, June something-ish.
It's the first week
I
of
can't
June,
remember. Is it? I don't remember. Anyway, Image is doing like a new Image Expo, and we talked about it a few weeks ago. Yeah, it's fucking on a Tuesday, and it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, but it'll be big though because it's going to be in San Francisco. So
Yeah, but it's not a con. So it's like a press thing that retailers can go to, and they're gonna have like some
Retailers,
party.
That's their biggest day.
Yeah, but right. So there, it was. Yeah, I don't know what the hell they're gonna do. So
If it's any day but the first week.
yeah. I think I can go to the press thing, but not the retail thing. So let's go.
well,
Let's do this
it's basically go up there and then they have a party at night. So I'm like, well, Tuesday I wish I could go, but I can't because it's the busiest day in the comic store other than
It's on.
Wednesday.
It's
So
on. That would be sick as fuck.
yeah. So we'll see. Maybe I'll send you guys up there as my representative.
Perfect.
But yeah, Free Comic Day is awesome. I like it.
You might regret that after, though.
You know, I don't know how much long term it does for a lot of these things because, you know, I remember Six Gun was one of those Free Comic Day books that I gave away like 500 copies of or something, and I had 4 people sign up for it. 2 of them didn't even realize there was a Free Comic Day book, and they bought the number 1, which the Free Comic Day was just the issue number 1, so they bought the issue again. And now, years later, I have 4 subscribers for it, and I don't sell any copies off the shelf, so I don't order any more than subscribers. So it's like, you know,
But it's a really good book.
sure, but I'm saying like
It's on like number 30 or something now, right?
yeah, but like you know, the long term of most of these titles is nothing. It's just a little more exposure, but you know, the hope is someone. You know,
The hope is you spend a quarter.
I-
you get somebody.
I gave away 200 copies of Sesame Street, and then I ordered like 5 copies of Sesame Street number 1, and I'll sell 2 of them. I mean, that's just the way it works. So whatever, it's cool. It's a really good day, and that's all that matters. So.
Oh yeah.
Twitter questions.
Yeah, did anyone? Omar? Did you guys go? Bryce, you came here.
Yeah.
You came here on Saturday.
Yeah, I was
Did-
here on Saturday.
Did
It was
anyone
awesome.
else go?
Charlie was rocking the Superman T-shirt.
yeah.
Boom.
Did anyone else?
I had ice on my face all day.
Dang. So yeah, next year we'll.
I was not there for Free Comic Day this year.
Yeah, you were gonna work, but
I was going to work, but due to
you're having baby stuff.
baby stuff, which
Yeah,
tomorrow.
Our listeners don't want to hear that.
All right, we're gonna do a couple questions here, then we'll move on to Iron Man probably for the rest of the podcast because I know we got a lot to say about that. Yeah. Let me see if I can find my
I
questions.
bet you even can find some questions about Iron Man.
Yeah, well, I told people we're gonna talk about it, so I didn't really.
What do you
get
think about
any
Iron Man? What do you guys think about
That's
Iron
a tough question.
Let me see here. Let me get to my questions. They're all... Oh, yeah, I know. Exciting podcast. Okay. This is from David, who asks, do you prefer trade paperbacks to keep covers and credit/title pages, or those that omit to give the illusion of one long story? So when you read comic books or trade paperbacks, a lot of times they'll just take out the credits, the covers, everything, and it'll just be straight through. Sometimes they'll put in little dividers for the different issues.
As long as they put the covers in the back of the book, I'm
Yeah.
okay with it. Especially one of my favorite things going through because I've been rereading all the John's Green Lantern stuff, is I love going to the back of those books where they put all the variant covers and everything too, and those are awesome.
I actually really like when they have the standard cover as like a divide between the issues, as long as it doesn't break up the flow. But I always liked it just because it is. That's how it is, you know? That's how it was printed originally, so I don't need ads and shit, but I mean, I like the break.
Yeah. I've seen. I can go either way with it. It's fine if they're in there. It's fine if they're in the back. The only problem I have with when they put them in the back, because sometimes they don't necessarily label them properly.
They should tell you what the covers are for.
Yeah, so it's like you literally have a cover gallery, and you're like, well, what the fuck issue did this go to? And so, that's my only drawback.
That goes through your mind. You know it. You even know the month and the date.
No, it's a Marvel book that I'm reading, and it does this. I don't know what issue it is.
Oh, Marvel.
Yeah.
Marvel fucks up. Is that what you're saying? Wow.
Shit.
It's shocking coming from you.
No. If they
time fanboy,
I guess I have no real problem either way. I prefer it if they put the covers in, but if they put them in the back, they absolutely must label the covers, because I guess I don't always know what everything is. I mean, there's a lot of fucking covers out there. So I know Bryce is a big binding fan, so I know he is going to say he is pro covers in his trade paperbacks.
Actually, I don't give a fuck. I like them.
Would you do a cover gallery and rip out all your covers on a bind and put all the covers in the back?
No, never. But I do see his point that in trade paperbacks, if they don't have the covers all the time, then it does lead to a much nicer flow.
Yeah.
So I like that, but I would always have the covers sort of splitting it up. But yeah, I mean, I don't really.
I think the most jarring thing I get when I read trades is when they put that blank page. Like sometimes that blank black page.
Well, you know why they do that, right?
Yeah, I know why they do it, but it's just like, what the? And it's like just.
Is that pee break time? Is that like intermission?
If they wrote intermission on there, I think I'd be like, all right, cool, I'm going to go take a piss.
They do that because a lot of times if you have like a splash page or something, they have to lay it out so it hits the right.
I thought it was like a Bollywood film. It's like taking a long time. It's like, it's been 3 hours already. Oh, half time. You need to go pee.
This one's from Elio on Twitter, who says, I don't know if this has been asked before, but it probably has, but I like talking about it. What are your favorite superhero costumes? That's always a good question. Anyone?
Catwoman, Power Girl. I don't know. I don't know. Those just come to mind instantly.
Zatanna.
Zatanna has one of my favorite costumes of all
which
time.
Zatanna?
Yeah.
Are you talking about with the top hat?
With the top hat.
With the top hat. Half the top hat.
Coattails and fishnets.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
But she does look good in pants.
I am a very big fan of Firestorm's Maraca look with the big puffy shoulders and everything like that.
That is kind of fun.
I do love that look so much.
Yeah.
It's so much. Oh, one of my favorite costumes of all time. I like a lot of costumes that aren't costumes. So like Connor Kent, Superboy, just the jeans and Superman shirt.
That's a classic.
Starman, which is just like the leather jacket with like the little sheriff's badge.
Okay.
Like I love those looks where, Sandman was just Wesley Dodds Sandman, which is just the gas mask and the trench coat. I love those.
So many steampunk elements, and yet you don't like steampunk.
No.
Projecting.
Yeah.
90s X-Men.
Oh,
all of them.
Oh, God.
all of them, leather, plaid. No.
Yeah.
Jim
I'll agree
Lee's
with that.
Gambit headgear and knee pads.
Rogue with the giant hair. Jim Lee with Jim Lee's.
They all had giant hair. Superman's mullet. Come on.
No, wait. The best mullet ever in comics has to be Longshot.
Oh, yeah.
The best.
No, but he was designed for a mullet. Superman just sort of grew one in the 90s.
That's what I'm saying. Like Longshot, if he comes out today, which I don't even know, is he around? He's in Exiles.
Come on,
dude. If he came out today,
he's in regular X-Men.
If Longshot,
regular X-Men. Holy shit! I didn't even know.
He's in X Factor. I don't want to.
I was about to say I don't think he's in.
Okay, Charlie, just take it easy.
Bryce Reed
But
here.
they did just put out a trade paperback for him recently too.
Nice. Yeah, that Arthur Adams stuff. It's just incredible. Just classic.
If they came out with
used to be classic. I'm not a big fan of Adams anymore as much. Sorry, Ryan. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I was going to
to
say if they came out with a Longshot today, would it be like an emo kid or something?
Oh, without a doubt.
Of the time.
Yeah, he would be an angry teenager, and you would fucking love him.
Yeah, he was that kid in the Thor book, right?
He'd hang out with Amadeus Cho, right?
I never liked Amadeus.
Dude, Amadeus Cho is like a young man now. He's killing it in Frank Cho. He's like the best part of that Savage Wolverine book. They should just call it Amadeus. Amadeus, rock me, Amadeus.
No, but Bryce, I will give you this Rogue's green and yellow costume with the brown Coke. Awesome.
Classic.
The hair bear, Aquanet hair.
Oh.
I'd be all up in that, too. She looks all Latin. I'm like, senorita.
She's not Latin at all.
But no, I mean, I'm just saying with the
she looks Latin.
Aquanet,
Yeah, that's a different conversation.
Like, if I was Magneto, my hair would be all white, too. Get on that shit.
Holy shit, okay.
Right? I ain't rapping. Fuck no. I'm going to hit it raw, son.
Jesus Christ.
Stefano asks.
It's been a while.
Stefano asks, what character would you want to be made into a is for my fellow toy and statue nerds. What character would you want to be made into a figure and or statue for your collection? We're going to go round table, and we're going to do something that is not currently available or something that's been made. Start with Brock.
Geoforce statue.
Just a statue?
It's 250. Well, they already made a figure.
Yeah.
So I need a statue. $250. That's for the orange and brown suit, and then I'd have to get the variant, which is the...
Well, right. Bowen would do a
yellow.
variant.
Yeah.
So, yeah, of course. Omar, what
Do
you
I have
need?
to have Bowen? Can I have somebody else do it?
Well, DC Direct does around, so...
Mine would have to be Insider. Cause it was, the return of Bruce Wayne, and he kind of like comes back in this like stealth suit, reflects a bunch of the heroes. He has like, the lasso. It's still kind of like a black ninja suit, a little action going on. I don't know. I'm loving it.
Cool.
Keeping it going, I want a Jim Lee, Rogue and Magneto in the Savage Land duo.
Nice.
I actually want a Gambit and Rogue because
Now, would you have
that's who they should be together
would you have
with.
Sauron in the background?
Maybe all of the mutates. Brock.
Toby. I know you got something.
Years ago, there's a Nightwing statue that I missed out on where he's jumping over a thingy. I really still want it.
Jumping over like a brick statue?
Yeah, brick statue,
Yeah.
yeah. That one I really, really want still.
Well, something that hasn't been made. Something new.
No, I'm just saying that's
Okay.
the one I would like.
Oh,
just
okay.
putting it out there.
Guilt trip.
But something that hasn't been made, I would like a Casey Jones statue.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But like
Team
full on
NG.
baseball bats, cricket bats, everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would go with a Ra's al Ghul statue. I don't think I've ever seen one of those.
Oh, that's nice. Good call. Like the Henry Ducard version or the
Yeah.
classic comic version?
A classic comic, for
Okay.
sure. I mean, I like those verse statues that DC does every once in a while. I have like the Superman Darkseid one.
Yeah.
I'd really like a Batman Ra's al Ghul one. That could be cool,
Good
especially
call.
with the
with his
sword.
coal. Yeah, and it just has his cowl on and
Yeah.
just shows Bruce Wayne's like
Yeah.
nice abs and his hairy chest. And
I, of course, need my New Warriors 6-pack. OG New Warriors 6-pack, like the DC Direct ones that they used to make, but I get Marvel to do it, so
Okay.
all 6 of them together. Nice little box set, little crash pad, diorama in the background.
Is
Yeah,
Night,
there
Will
you go.
Speedball's cat be in there too?
That's the bonus figure. Yeah.
Night Thrasher, will he be in it?
Yeah.
Is he scary as skateboard? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Skateboard accessory, of course.
Nice.
I'll buy that too.
There is. I mean, at this point, there've been a couple Firestar figures, but the only one that was out for years was actually a Wizard mail-away figure. That was the only one forever that they had. Nova's got a bunch now. Namorita, to the best of my knowledge, never had a figure. Maybe
I think she had a figure. She's never had a statue.
Well, no, she's never had a statue, but these are figures. Namorita may have had like one of those bad Mattel like mid-90s figures. Speedball's never had a figure. Night Thrasher's never had a figure.
Those Mattel ones were awesome.
Silhouette's never had a figure.
Huh.
What's his face? Rage has never had a figure. Darkhawk's had like 2 maybe now. 1 or 2. So
It's okay. Well, it looks like DC is moving into the young heroes section, so maybe you might
Maybe
be
they
able
can buy
to
'em?
jump into those books and just relive your teen angst.
Wait,
I got my
I thought we
Titans.
were talking about statues. We're talking about figures?
figures
Figures
or
or
statues.
statues.
Okay.
Either.
Mine was a statue, by the way.
Yeah.
just to make
Oh,
sure that's
okay.
clear.
That's because it's hard to find figures they haven't made.
Well, no, but I think that I don't
True.
think I've seen a Savage Land Rogue and
think they did at
Magneto
least
2-pack or something.
Never did anything.
I
like
think they
that.
did at least
She has
the
a spear and everything.
Savage Land
Yeah.
or,
That'd be fucking
or
awesome.
Yeah,
Magneto.
she's in her little like Savage Land outfit.
Uh-huh.
Magneto doesn't have to wear the helmet because Professor X is dead.
Yeah.
Or is he?
Just like his hair is all.
Spoiler.
All right, we've hit just about the 30-minute mark, which I wanted to hit. So it's one of those quiet news weeks. Iron Man's out, so I think we got a lot to say about.
What are you talking about, man? Kitty Pryde. She's
Kitty
going to be.
Pryde. Looking good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She hasn't grown much.
Oh,
yet,
No,
but
that's weird.
No, right?
Oh, from
Little Juno girl.
Second Class.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's show some pictures of Kitty Pryde. Yeah, she looks fine.
Do you think that Katniss is going to be back for
Mystique?
Mystique? I mean, they have her listed, but she's like so big time now.
Was she Mystique?
Oh, it's guaranteed already? She's already signed
She was
in?
already in contract long before she got.
Oh, wow.
I had no idea that was the same actress. Is it really?
Yeah.
Huh. I never saw Hunger
Dude,
Games.
Jennifer
So
Lawrence
that's funny.
is fucking hot as fuck.
funny.
Oh, my God.
When we watched the movie, my wife actually asked how Rebecca Romaine Stamos. This is no disrespect, but how she gained so much weight to play the younger version of herself. And I was like, oh, babe, that's Jennifer Lawrence. Oh, that's awkward.
And then she changes into Rebecca Romaine Stamos for like a split
For a second.
and
I'm
you're
like, turn back.
Yeah.
I'm like, Turn back.
Nothing.
Either one works.
No relation to anything. But of all the trailers I saw for Iron Man 3, because they had the new Hunger Games trailer.
Yeah.
White House Down, best trailer.
Wait. No.
What the hell is wrong with you?
Thor?
Yeah, dude,
Are you crazy?
Did you see the Thor one?
Have
Oh my
you
God.
seen Olympus Fallen? That's the same movie.
I don't care about that.
I just want to let you know the movie's already out.
It's
You
made
can
by
probably
the
go rent
it's
it.
made by the guy that did Independence Day in
Roland
2012. My guy's a genius. He's my favorite.
Genius by
The trailer was amazing.
Genius by freaking hiring Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Sure.
No,
I always knew Higgins was a Chan fan.
Since we're at it, dude, I'm really pissed off that John Chu hired freaking Tatum to play He-Man. I'm fucking pissed off.
All I'm saying is, dude, Independence Day, you have me forever.
You
after
realize
Independence
how
Day.
many fucking helicopters fly and crash in that trailer alone?
The more the better.
I thought I was watching Fast and the Furious helicopter
The
style.
more the better. Although that Fast and
Shit.
Furious
Do not
trailer,
talk shit about the Fast and Furious.
It wasn't okay. There's cars in Fast and the Furious.
the Fast and Furious 6 trailer was ridiculous.
What? Get the fuck out of here, Ryan.
Ridiculously awesome.
But yeah, that's ridiculous. But 2012, that's a good movie.
What I don't understand is how some people that did behind the scenes talks with some of the Thor people.
Yeah,
The
the
dark.
Thor looks badass. I'd already seen
It looks incredible.
Yeah.
But why are they trying to kind of get a little hook and saying it's like Asgardian Game of Thrones?
Oh, it is no.
Like,
no,
what
no, no.
the fuck is
It
that
is not
all about?
Asgardian Game of Thrones. It is Game of Thrones. They've publicly on the record
They
said
got the director from the TV show.
Yeah, they've publicly stated, "Oh yeah, this is Game of Thrones." Yeah,
Wait, what?
Yeah.
For those of us that don't know, what the fuck? What are you talking about?
You know
Thor-
Game of Thrones?
No, I know Game of Thrones.
Hey,
but what
the
are you talking
Lannister always pays his debts.
Thor 2.
about with relation to Thor?
Thor 2 is like Game of Thrones with Thor in it.
That could be cool.
But
Yeah.
what I don't understand is that how that could ever be misconstrued as anything but fucking awesome.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's one movie, whereas Game of Thrones is awesome because of its epic sprawl.
Okay,
Sure.
I don't understand why you guys are still sitting there talking about it. The only thing we need to know about the Thor trailer is Loki's line at the end. When do we start?
Yeah.
I mean, come on. When am I going to be able to sit down and watch this movie?
November.
Fucking
I think it's November.
Sooner. It needs to be sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
All
doesn't
right.
need to be soon, right?
Well, we're going to go into Iron Man 3 spoiler talk here. So if you don't want to listen to this, go turn off your iPod pad device thingy, whatever you listen
You
to
should
this
just
on.
pause it, go see the movie right now.
Well, that too.
And then finish
That
the
too.
episode.
Isn't it just incredible how they have the Guardians of the Galaxy armor right there? Oh my god! That's fucking awesome!
That's not a spoiler. Okay, no spoil. Okay, we are now going spoiler
Wait,
territory,
what?
so
That
he's
didn't really
joking.
Yeah, it was there.
Did you
The
see
armor was
Rocket
there.
Raccoon?
Rocket Raccoon wasn't there.
You didn't see
armor was
Gamora
up there.
jumping through?
That was one of the armors he jumped into.
Anyway,
It was.
Hey, Charlie, they're
You don't
talking
think it
about
was?
David Tennant being Rocket Raccoon. Did you see that?
Well,
I
Which
saw
one?
that rumor.
The armors at the end, a lot of it was based on different some shit. It was kind of comic, like fan service.
By the
anyway, hold on.
Okay.
Now we're gonna start talking about Iron Man 3.
Don't.
We
Okay, let's
already-
start
we
from the
already did.
beginning.
Well, what?
Wouldn't it be weird if the Doctor regenerated as Rocket Raccoon and running around in the Marvel universe?
Hell? Okay,
What? Where does that even come from?
so Iron Man 3.
David Tennant being possibly Rocket Raccoon.
Iron Man 3. opens
Everyone
this
that's still
weekend.
listening watched Iron Man 3, so we don't need to go from the beginning to the end. Let's just fucking talk free flow like we always do.
Okay.
That's fair. I'm
Omar wanted to talk. Okay, so anyway, the movie opened up. Omar wants to talk about some of those costumes.
What the fuck are we talking
You
about?
think one of the Iron Man 3?
Okay.
You think one of these costumes in the end was a Guardians of the Galaxy costume?
Yeah, it was.
Which one?
Do you,
Which
oh, you
one?
don't read
There
the
was
comic.
50.
No, no.
I read the comic.
No, you don't read.
but
I know you do. I know you read
Yeah.
every comic book that comes out. So okay,
The one that looks
the
like
one
Sunfire.
where it looks like
where it's
Sunfire.
like,
yeah. It pretty much is almost like
I just-
his helmet almost looks like Star Lord.
I thought that was a Japanese one.
Japanese one.
Dude, I must have missed it. I got to see it again.
It's all very quick. That's how they get away with it.
Also, I think some Omar imagination might be.
And they had the water. They had the little
Wait,
subterranean.
So he blows him up at the end. Your argument is that he blows up that one, but then remakes it again for Guardians.
Of course he will later.
Well, in order
Well, except Robert Downey Jr. isn't under contract anymore right now. So
Yeah.
in order to make
likelihood
this
of him in Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of minimal right
Well,
now.
that doesn't really necessarily matter because they could just have Iron Man in that armor. But I didn't see that armor.
Yeah.
in order to make this work well, let's just go down the table, give a quick little bit of what we thought of it, and then we'll come then just freeform. We can go through the whole movie.
Oh, shit.
We'll go backwards. Start with Charlie.
Thank you.
Now we
Okay.
can start with you
much
because you
pressure.
didn't like it.
Well, I could start with me, but let's start with Charlie. Save the
Okay.
best for last.
So, as a movie lover,
last.
I thought it was great and I liked it. As a comic lover, I have all sorts of nerd rage over it. So that's kind of where I fall.
That is a common. I've heard that many times.
Yeah.
Tell me about a little bit about
We're
your
going to do
nerd
this
rage.
too. Hold on. We're going to do this.
I'm easy.
We'll get to. Hold on. We're going to do this too. Where do you rank it with all the Marvel movies?
All the Marvel.
All the
Why did you ask that ahead of time,
Universe movies.
It's a great question.
Which means you can't include Daredevil, you can't include X-Men.
Right, just
we know it. Yeah.
just the Marvel Universe.
Marvel Studios.
I already knew how to rank it with Iron Man.
Okay, how do you rank it with Iron Man?
Okay, I like the first one the best, then I like the third, then I like the second.
Okay,
That's easy.
That's good.
okay,
I concur everything Charlie just said.
okay, including the nerd rage.
Yes.
Where'd the nerd rage come from?
Why you guys
I was
nerd
not
rage?
as angry, but it was more as it's been done.
No, but dude,
Ra's al Ghul.
Yeah.
When I walked out, the very first thing I turned to the Geekbox's Ryan Scott and I said, "Batman Begins called it once its Ra's al Ghul plot back."
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Oh, man.
Well, I was. but
but-
Scott must have been
honestly,
tearing each
though,
other's dicks. That's very clever.
in Batman Begins, I wish it wasn't the case, and that this one actually would have taken it easier if it was, if Batman pulled it out differently, and this one actually tried to do this, I would have been maybe fine with it, but I don't know. Well, we'll
See-
talk about it more later, I think.
Yeah. What, so in 1, 3, 2 is your order?
Absolutely.
Okay.
My order is also 1 through 2.
Okay.
I fucking really enjoyed it.
Okay.
I there's some stuff that I'm miffed about. Obviously, the Mandarin I'm not that excited about, but I think what they did with it was fucking really clever.
Yeah.
And that nobody saw that coming, and is that irritating? Slightly, but can I live with what they did? Yeah, I think that fucking Sir Ben killed it. And we can talk about it more when my turn's done, or when we're all done. I mean,
Yeah,
but,
because this is going to be a main subject right after.
Yeah.
all of
Right,
this.
right. So, but I fucking loved, as we talked about earlier, I loved the layering. I fucking loved the humanization of Tony.
Word.
I loved that when they were about to start getting corny with the kid, he would turn around and say something fucking snarky to the kid, so that we always knew that it wasn't a sap fest. What else did I love? I don't know. I fucking loved the
bunny
Armor
with the
Wars,
giant
like
boobies.
fight at the didn't love the bunny, but
Giant boobies?
I loved a lot of it. I would definitely say 1, 3, 2 as well. And if you want the whole Marvel Studios answer, I would probably say Avengers, Iron Man, Thor, and then Iron Man 3.
Okay.
That's a good list. But I think Iron Man 3 is better than all of them.
Including Avengers.
Including Avengers, yes.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, I do.
I actually agree
And
on
why?
that, but I don't- I don't place
Because
Avengers
it
that
just
high.
tells a fucking complete story. Motherfuckers just start from the start. It goes backwards. It almost kind of feels artsy. Maybe because Guy Pearce is in the film, it kind of takes me back to his Memento days, where it's like he's telling the story backwards, and it's like, or from the beginning, and he's like, the way they connect it, like holy shit, like he's telling the story to Bruce, and he fucking falls asleep. And for those of you that ended up waiting,
That was awesome.
yeah. So disturbing. For me, so disturbing. The whole using the Mandarin as like Osama bin Laden, like straight copy. They took some clips, they watched clips, and they just reenacted shit. Fucking so disturbing. That was only, 6 years ago? But it feels like yesterday. Those chilling, haunting images that we saw, and Marvel recaptured that shit. My grandma, I think I've said it before on the podcast, my grandma's she's straight from Tokyo. She was there when the firebombs came down, the incendiary bombs after the U.S. declared, they've defeated Japan. So my grandmother's actually told me stories from when I was a kid to even now, how she's seen her friends just flare up and become shadows on the wall. That shit is fucking so disturbing. Like, for anybody else, it might be like, yeah, mild entertainment, but to hear that and to know that kind of shit can really happen, I was blown away. And like, so I think to Bryce's point on how it's layered, I really felt like I was laughing a lot of times. Sometimes I felt like really emotional, like fuck, how can you even show these kind of graphic images? But I don't know, I just felt like totally entertained, and yeah, I saw it twice, so it's fucking incredible.
So did I.
Yeah, good job.
We're going to get back to you seeing it twice in a little bit, Charlie. Brock.
Well, I liked it better than I liked Iron Man 2.
Okay. So 1, 3, 2.
That's easy to do.
Yeah. Nice answer, bro.
Yeah, the only one here that doesn't agree to that is Ryan.
Well, we'll get to that.
I walked out when I left the theater. I really didn't have any thoughts whatsoever. didn't.
That's like the Rob Higgins thing.
So you don't have an opinion?
I walked out the theater. I didn't have any opinion whatsoever here.
What do you mean you didn't have?
He's all, and I am all, not my opinion.
There's
You had to check the internet
over
first.
there. Ooh.
What do you mean you didn't have any thoughts? What does that even mean?
I didn't care. Like
cool.
I walked out. Like I walked out of Dark Knight. I walked out of Avengers. I walked out of Iron Man. All these films, I walked out like going, "Holy fucking shit!" This movie, I walked out going, "I don't give a shit." Like
Wow.
the movie,
That's crazy.
The movie, it had its moments that were really really cool. The airplane sequence with him saving everybody.
That was awesome.
You know, there's a lot of stuff with the CG and the explosions. I like how they did the stuff with the shadows on the wall from just the intensity of the heat, you know, being authentic that way. But the plot failed in a lot of aspects in trying to convey a story. There was no character development with Guy Pearce's character.
What?
There was no character.
Dude, are you crazy? He's like a fucking chameleon, bro. Like, he was a total lecherous, like, fucking
He was in
nerd.
the first 5 minutes of the film. And
There was no character development with Guy Pearce's character. There was no character development for the cronies. It wasn't explained why Extremis was working with these people and not these people. It's just random explosions. I did, for some odd reason, really like Ben Kingsley's character as Mandarin and as the actor playing Mandarin.
Spoilers!
Trevor. No, he's a spoiler alert at the beginning.
okay.
Dude, Trevor was awesome.
dude, Trevor was just fucking.
Yes, it's hot, bitch. He isn't the fucking bad. He's all, what's up?
Trevor was
like-
so fucking good.
But that's the thing is going into the film, right? Watching the trailer, like one or two trailers I saw, I was like, okay, how is Ben Kingsley going to pull this off? And when they did that, I was like, that's how Ben Kingsley pulls it off, and it worked for me. But when I left the theater, I just didn't care. Like, this movie, it didn't
warm you up? Like,
well, no, it didn't make me angry.
how does that feel?
You had no extremists going on.
It didn't make me angry.
For everybody listening, Omar and Brock are touching each other right now.
Because
And it's very meaningful.
very meaningful and hot.
In appropriate places.
Exactly. But I didn't have I didn't go one way or the other. Like, I really, like, the only thought I really had was that I like this better than Iron Man 2.
Well,
But I didn't have any kind of real solid emotion coming
The
out of this film.
Marvel thing is carrying over to the movies. You're like, been there, done that. Fucking Iron Man saving people out of plane. I've seen that before. You don't impress me no more, man. What else can you do?
It's not that. It's like, I think another part for me that really stood out was when Tony's in the trail, the first two trailers, it shows Tony walking and dragging the armor. And I'm like, how in the hell does this stupid scene at the end of this trailer, which screws up the flow of the trailer, have anything to do with in the movie? Like, how does this come out in the movie? And it worked well in the film, but not in the trailer, and I enjoyed that. But I think that's what Iron Man did. There were things that I enjoyed, but things I didn't enjoy, and it kind of leaves me kind of just mute. Like, eh.
Well, we still haven't heard from Ryan.
Oh, saving the best for last, Ryan. No pressure.
No pressure.
No pressure, Ryan.
Well, people make fun of me for not liking Marvel, and I do. I've actually come around on a fair amount of the comics recently. Well, not as bad as Brock, but
shit.
If anyone listens to this podcast, and hopefully everyone realizes this, and all you guys do, I fucking love the Marvel movies almost without a fault. I mean, Iron Man,
Except for Daredevil.
No, the Marvel Universe
I know,
movies.
whatever.
Iron Man, I loved Iron Man 2. I don't know what anyone else is smoking. I thought Iron Man 2 was fantastic.
It was fantastic. It was just slightly less good than 3.
All of them. Avengers is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. I thought Avengers was fucking incredible.
Especially the scene where they're all fixing the jet between Iron Man and Captain America. The engine's broken.
That was good stuff. Yeah, that was
The
incredible.
helicarrier breaking down, and they're like fixing it
Yeah,
for
that's a
like
good
20
scene.
minutes.
That's a good scene.
God.
I mean, Avengers. When I walked out of Avengers, the smile on my face, I was like, I got to go back and see this again tomorrow. Like,
exactly.
I was
the next
blown
day.
away.
And the next day.
Yeah, I loved Avengers fucking with every fiber of my being. I love that. Iron Man 3 to me was the most disappointing movie I've seen since Sorry Toby, Amazing Spider-Man.
This is like me hating the Golden State Warriors. in the Bay
Fine.
Area.
They're gonna-
Exactly.
They're going to win
Wait,
tonight.
but Amazing Spider-Man was actually not good.
Exactly. Yeah. Sorry,
Would
Toby.
you like me to turn all the cranes across?
Yes, I would.
so that you can get your,
I had a slight
opinion through
tear
to
in
us?
my eye when I watched that
Everybody
scene,
needs a
all right?
hand every once in a while.
You know, the city's coming together
That
for
was
fucking
ridiculous.
Spider-Man.
Maybe we can use
Okay,
the
so
lizard
hold on.
so he's unrecognizable.
I've
so
always
you can
found
finish
this.
this.
I've always found this hilarious about this whole Spider-Man cranes thing. Is
That
they
scene
turn?
was
Hold
like-
on, they turn the cranes in that one, but when everyone helps him off the subway car after he beats Doc Ock, people don't rag on that one.
Well, here's my thing about the Krang, because it's a symbolization of the Krangs, the brains from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So it's really foreshadowing. All right.
Once you went there, I can't go there.
So
And all arguments.
Back to
break
Iron Man
down.
3. Back to Iron Man 3.
I watching the opening of the movie and getting into it, and you're like, okay, you know, I've got this thing in my head from the trailers, and this is my own
You
problem.
shouldn't fucking watch
you
trailers,
shouldn't
dude.
watch no fucking trailer.
Of course, I'm going to watch a trailer or two, and just my
five?
mind.
No, you can avoid
no. I shut down after the first trailer or two.
That's what he
I
said.
always do.
But the TV spots, I got some room for that.
No. I don't watch any of those.
Oh, and some teasers.
No, I don't watch any of those. I watch
Maybe I'll
I watch
see,
like the teaser and like one or two trailers is all I watch. So,
So
going
when
in,
trailers come on, when you go to see a movie, you just cover your ears and go la la la
if
la
it,
la.
when we were watching it, I'm like, so help me God, if there's a Star Trek trailer for this, I'm just going to shut my eyes and close my ears and just blah blah blah.
I just show up 15 minutes late.
Yeah.
Now it's 30 minutes late.
Oh.
Unless
That would be
unless
that
you're
would
in
explain
IMAX.
why I saw that crappy epic trailer.
Exactly.
So to me, I thought we were getting, and again, this is my own mistake. I thought we were getting Terrorist Mandarin. I thought we were getting Armor Wars. I thought we were getting fucking serious him dragging his armor through the snow and after some climactic battle and fucking just being just beat and just dark and gritty.
So you made up a movie in your mind, and because
right.
the movie didn't fucking wasn't the
But
movie you made up in your mind, you
that's-
think it sucks.
But here's the thing,
I
and
do
this
that all the
is
time,
a large
actually.
part of my nerd rage towards this movie. It doesn't really have to do with the movie I saw. It's the movie that the trailers made me think I was
this
going
is
to see.
what-
Because
When Charlie said he saw it a second time, and you admitted to me earlier you liked it a lot better the second
Yeah.
time, I want to go back and rewatch it because as the movie progresses and we get a slapstick comedy, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
That's what it is, though. That's what
Whoa,
Robert Downey
slapstick
does so
comedy?
well.
Yeah.
Well,
No, dude, that's
Yeah.
way over exaggeration.
Dude,
I mean,
there was literally
there was some physical
there
humor
was
in
literally
there, but slapstick
there,
comedy.
there is
Come on.
fart jokes in this movie. There are literal shit jokes about the smell of the gas that comes out of your anus in this
Well,
movie.
that's like a continuation, though. Like I just shit in my pants. Like how's that? That's the way it was in fucking the movie you love so much, Iron Man 2, that everyone else hates.
this is one of the things
Yeah, Iron
I
Man
had.
2 had a pissing
yeah.
himself joke.
This is one of the things I had a difficulty with, and I explained it to a couple of people before. But Iron Man 1, Robert Downey nailed being Tony Stark. In Iron Man 2, he faltered. In Avengers, he nailed Tony Stark. But in this film, he again faltered, and I think that's part of the reason why, like for me at least,
Yeah, I disagree.
for me at least, he didn't hit the mark.
well,
Because
but here's the thing. In Iron Man 1, for the most part, it didn't really show off Tony's faults. Now, mind you, for the origin story, I'm all fine with that because you don't really get to see his drinking.
but they
Yes,
never
he's in
pulled
a
the trigger.
terrorist cave drinking. No, that doesn't happen. But so I understood that going into number 1. So when I went into number 2, I wanted them to highlight his drinking. I wanted them to highlight what makes all of these Marvel characters so interesting. Isn't like they're all heroes. It's the different faults they all sort of bring to the character, yet they still
That's why you like DC so much.
overcome them and basically have these really full-fledged out
That's the thing,
characters.
yeah.
And that's part, and just to say sort of like the DC thing, as most of the people in this podcast seem to be, we all kind of grew up having a intense sort of Marvel side of the scale, and they've changed the way they've done their storytelling on both sides a lot, so that scale has changed, but a large part of it just has to come down to having these well-rounded characters that have faults, that have stuff they have to overcome. That what makes them heroes is that stuff doesn't come super easy, in a sense.
Well,
And-
to your drinking thing, I think that was one of my biggest problems with 2 was they didn't pull the trigger with the drinking. They segued it into another problem. that Tony's dealing with. And I think that like the problem that they went into with his chest plate is poisoning him. That's fine, but it's too soon to have this happen between Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2.
No, it's
especially
not.
if you're not dealing
I don't think we're gonna ever see a real drinking demon and bottle story with Iron Man because it's done by Disney.
We
it's
saw
a family
it.
movie.
We saw it for 2 seconds when he said
not a real one.
When he raised his glass after the missile thing and he went like this. Wow. That was the only time we've seen
we're not going to see the demon in the bottle story.
But I want to get back to Iron Man 3 here real quick. And to add on to what some of you guys were saying before, I hated the Mandarin. I hated it.
But
you don't think
you pull it off really well, though.
I hated it.
Did you? Did you know beforehand that?
No, I hated it.
I didn't know either.
I absolutely.
What did you hate about it?
I
thought
that it wasn't the Mandarin.
It was a joke.
I knew the minute he went into the house. It was kind of funny. The minute Tony went to the house, I'm like, ah, shit. They're pulling it at Ra's al Ghul.
It was a joke, and it was ridiculous.
It's funny because like now that you guys are saying Ra's al Ghul, yeah. But I never thought about Ra's al Ghul. I never thought about any connection.
Not once.
At all.
By the way,
it's the exact same.
I think that Marvel grabbed their balls and they actually did the Mandarin how Ra's al Ghul. They wanted to do Ra's al Ghul. I think that they did
by making him shit smelly really bad. So his chicks he's banging has
hung up on.
I am really hung up on that scene. I hated.
Like during that scene, by the way, it was like in that scene, whole but it was
scene,
like about 5 seconds long.
If you look, if there was a camera from the video on my face, I was like, "What is going on?"
The socio-political kind of story they were telling, and I think that there is even some right-wing people. I don't remember their names because they're not worth mentioning from Fox. Sorry, EBS, I love you, but like people could say like this film is just similar to how episode 1 was, kind of a reflection of politics.
Sure.
And like, the dog chasing.
Yeah, I really didn't want them to save the president.
So, Ryan, were you expecting a ring that shoots lightning and a ring that shoots fire and a ring that shoots ice?
No. Here's the thing, and this is exactly what I'm saying. I would have had no problem if Mandarin was just a terrorist guy running some cells, if he was involved with the guys that kidnapped, because it was implied through some of the behind-the-scenes stuff in the first Iron Man movie that the guys that got Tony Stark in the very first movie actually were one of the 10 quote-unquote rings of the Mandarin.
I mean, Obadiah had a ring, and the terrorists in the desert had a ring.
Like, I don't care that it's different from the Mandarin. I mean, I'm fine with characters that are different. This was stupid.
Really?
I hated
Oh, no, I thought it connected well because...
I hated Guy Pearce. I hated
Really? Guy Pearce?
Guy Pearce was
incredible. Oh, my
God.
God.
The way...
I hated Killian.
What do you think is more realistic for like a modern day story that they have to tell and be as realistic as possible in the vein of all the Marvel movies? If they're trying to be as realistic as possible,
then he would have been a fucking terrorist. It would have been.
And he was a terrorist.
No,
it doesn't matter whether or not he was a terrorist, though, because he was a figurehead to be like viewed as a terrorist because of this.
The way I
played the Mandarin as
bullshit.
a joke.
No, but the way I look at Guy Pearce is that he's actually the Mandarin in the story, because there's one point
he says I'm the Mandarin.
Yeah, but since the beginning, though.
No,
he says it since the beginning.
He's always been. He's always been.
But the way
Mandarin.
I mentioned it that he says it since the beginning of like Fireman 1. I almost want to say that he was part of all of that.
See, the way I saw it was when Guy Pearce was saying, "Oh, and we're going to be, we have like a new power center, and I'm a part of it, and we're going to be I'm going to be hanging out with the real the real number one terrorist in the world." And he was pointing out to the VP, which I felt was so powerful because it's like
that. Dude, Vice President bullshit was so tacked on at the end. That made no sense.
I don't think so. I felt like that guy was like the Mandarin because he was actually wasn't he from other films too?
Yeah, what movie is he the bad guy in?
What?
He's always a bad guy in every fucking film.
What are you talking about? Ben Kingsley?
No,
the VP.
I don't remember what else he was from. He did look like a mischievous.
That guy's in everything.
Or a mischievous. But dude, they had to have the VP because otherwise it wouldn't be as plausible that they would kidnap the president.
But this whole thing of first of all, one of my biggest complaints in the movie, besides that, was the ending. I think the fight scene was fine. I guess
fucking awesome, dude.
But all the shit with the armors, where the hell were these armors for the whole rest of the movie? Why did they? It was like
it's called toy cells.
They were fucking buried underground. They were underwater.
Okay.
The crates arrived,
no,
sir.
they weren't
The crates
underwater,
arrived.
They were under rubble.
They were under rubble. That's what I meant. Yeah, they had to clear off the rubble before they opened the cylindrical door.
So, with the exception of Armor 42, which apparently can't get through a rusted, broken down garage door, any single one of those armors can level a city. Yet it can't get out from some rocks.
Wait.
Okay. What? The fucking Hulkbuster armor that they show specifically lifting all this shit can't get out of a little cage.
Wait, leveling a city. What?
Any single Iron Man armor can level a fucking city.
Okay, I think
yet
now
40
you're
of
taking your fanboy.
No. Then no, you don't think so?
I need you to calm down.
He said
But 40 of them can't get out of this little thing that Tony Stark built that allows them to get out of it and out from like a handful of rocks.
He doesn't activate them because he doesn't think that he needs them until the end. What do you want? What do you fucking want? What's wrong with that?
Well, that's stupid.
The fact
Pepper Potts
is a character flaw. As in that's a bad writing mechanism for the movie.
The president of the United States is under attack. Pepper Potts has been kidnapped, possibly dead. I'm just gonna fucking have this armor that's made out of cotton do a thing, and then maybe eventually my broken down armor will save me. And oh yeah, by the way, I forgot I have like fucking 40 more of these at the end of the movie when I need them. What?
That makes a cool ending, though, doesn't it?
But
I was fooled.
It makes a fucking awesome fucking ending. Second of all, he did think that he could handle it without the armors.
Okay.
So,
Dude, because this movie is really all about
your argument is that he
Tony
was stupid?
Stark.
Is that your argument?
If the movie was called Tony Stark and it was sellable like that, it would be called Tony Stark. Tony Stark always comes before Iron Man.
This is Iron Man.
This is the Spider-Man 3 where they wanted Robert Downey Jr.'s face off. The mask is off the whole movie. The kid was as bad as the dance scene.
No way! That kid was awesome.
Do not
really,
dude.
That dance scene. I erased it from my memory, and now you just brought it back. I hate you.
I had to get Zaytana to fucking mind wipe me out.
Yeah, exactly.
That was fucking unreally bad.
I did not.
Last drop.
But it's like talking to the kid. Okay, he has some funny lines with the kid, but the whole thing with the kid was like, what? And then he started talking. I swear to God, when he started talking to the guy in like the TV van, I'm like, oh my God, here we go again.
Yeah. Okay,
some bullshit.
Now,
that was funny.
This is to everybody.
Yeah, it was like
this is to everybody.
Like a 1 minute scene. What's wrong with that?
Bad.
Did you really think Pepper was gone when she fell into the fire?
Oh, and this
Dude,
goes,
I actually did.
I didn't because I bought the hero clips and it spoiled it for me.
They've been injecting her extremists.
She's like Lex Luthor. She becomes super powered.
Okay, hold on. And that leads me to
I was like, oh, they're going to add another human element by actually having Pepper die. That's fucking
And this
crazy.
leads me to 3 other problems I have with the movie. Okay,
Wait, time out. First of all, yeah, sure, they use the term extremist, but it doesn't connect to Warren Ellis's book.
At all.
Who gives a fuck about that? It doesn't matter.
Totally
they
different.
still connected. And
I don't mind. Again, I have no problem if it's different.
Let's hear your other 3 incorrect opinions about what's wrong.
So the villains are mad and create AIM. Well, they don't create AIM, but they turn AIM into what it is. And I have no problem with AIM being different. Again, so
wait. What?
This goes back.
The villains are mad and create AIM?
He was
part of AIM in the beginning of the
movie.
movie.
I know. What I said was, I have no problem with them turning AIM.
You wanted to see beekeepers, right? You wanted to see beekeepers.
I don't
so did I.
Different.
I agree.
I'm actually a little surprised they didn't throw in one beekeeper somewhere.
Beekeeper. That's all I want to see, right?
I don't care that it's
They had an
different.
opportunity to do that.
But the two main villains outside fucking Mandarin, whatever the hell his name was.
Mandarin and Killian?
Trevor. The 2 main bad guys in the movie are bad guys because Tony Stark kind of just had a one-night stand with one of them and ditched the other on a roof for a night, and then they spend the next 15 years.
And I had an epiphany on the roof.
Let's call that Hollywood. We got to know. Hey, we're not going to get fucking high art from Hollywood, okay?
But we did the 5 other Marvel movies.
From the building and ended it, and nobody would have known.
You call Captain America high art, Ryan?
Definitely not.
Way better
that
than
one
that.
bitch is hot though. She got some nice titties.
Look.
Well, no. So this goes to my problems at the end of the movie. Okay,
Sorry.
This then links directly to my problems at the end of the movie. Tony Stark can just randomly cure Pepper of the extremis armor thing.
Why is that so random?
It's like he's like, oh, I'll just fix you because I'm Tony Stark. Okay,
because he's Tony Stark.
But then maybe the worst thing in the entire movie, he gets the fucking shrapnel out of him. Just because, I guess I could do this. I got a weekend. Sure, why not? Where does that come from?
That was a metaphor in the whole film.
No.
I'm sorry.
Time out. There's another version of this movie that's only played in China.
Which is apparently terrible.
Well, supposedly the doctor that's operating on Tony has
Bing, or whatever her name is?
That's his assistant.
Oh.
But the doctor supposedly that's working on Tony at the end of the movie, who you only see the hands of, has a full storyline in the Chinese version.
And what is that all about?
I read it.
Fuck, I don't know.
It's terrible. It's
If you're talking to some of my friends, it's totally Chinese propaganda, but whatever.
It is. Really? Yeah. It's totally, they're like, oh, well, we can't fail. And it's a bunch of product placement. And apparently it's really bad.
Yeah, I heard there's a lot of product
for me, I felt like, at least this the way I was fooled in my mind about how he can do it is because he allowed it. Because I felt like Iron Man was something he grasped to. That's how he, all of his buddies were his armor. Like, he's all fucking used his armor to talk to fucking practically use all the fucking foreplay with his
Charlie
fucking...
just gave me the hand.
His woman.
Wait,
dude, like, it was him that was the problem. That's why, he
hold on.
At the end.
Hold on.
himself from being Iron Man.
Giant Charlie is about to speak. If you don't stop, he's going to step on you.
The whole point of Extremis is being able to hack the body.
Yes.
Tony mastered Extremis to cure Pepper.
When? Where? This is not in the movie.
He was introduced to Extremis in the middle of the movie, and the whole movie was over in like 24 hours from when he found it in movie time.
It did show that he had like that
eventually
paper.
figured it out. Why is that so crazy?
He was doing it while he was effing that Extremis bitch because he was hella drunk.
He was like hella drunk. He already figured it out.
It's the thing that he wrote on that piece of paper where he's like,
a napkin,
I was
bro.
drunk,
Napkin.
I forgot this. I guess I can do it again.
He couldn't get the shrapnel out of his face.
The whole point of getting Tony basically to Extremis is he had already shown he had a better understanding of it from that one night stand at the beginning of the movie.
Exactly.
That they needed him to basically perfect it.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah, and 15 years later, they're just really mad at him.
I figured it out in like a one night stand. I'm pretty sure that I could figure it out like if I had enough time. That's like almost his exact quote, and it's like, how is that so fucking unreasonable that some undetermined amount of time he would figure it out? Why is that one of your biggest
Charlie,
fans?
I love you. You know, you're just so articulate. Your beautiful mind.
The whole point is, as soon as he has Extremis basically mastered, as soon as he understands how it works, if it can fucking regrow arms, I'm sure it can keep him alive through a surgery to remove shrapnel.
Ladies and gentlemen.
But here's
here we go. Hey, you know that sound? You know that sound? Charlie just dropped the mic.
So, but then this goes back to another problem I have with the whole.
Stage left too.
Yeah.
So, okay, if all of this is true, none of this is actually in the movie.
Yeah.
So this is all.
It could be in a product
Toby,
in a product placement.
Hey, guys, Toby, you know this. In Hollywood, it's show not tell, and that's telling, not showing.
It might be in a Chinese product placement.
It's not that at all. There is no point in the movie where they show him working on it. There is no point in the movie where they say he's using Extremis to get the thing out of him. He's just like, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take the shrapnel out of my chest because it's like, what?
Dude, how is that such a far leap? He cures Pepper.
He can't. That's the whole point. Is that he can't get that stuff out of his chest, and then he does because he felt like it.
Which
makes no sense.
30 seconds after he cures Pepper using Extremis.
But he never cured Pepper. He's just like, I'll work on it.
He didn't cure. He said he fixed her.
And then you never see.
I don't know if someone
he says fix. What is that?
I have a story to tell. I have a friend of mine that hated the Jet Li movie. What's it called? The one with Aaliyah. Well, you know it. What's it called?
And DMX.
Yeah,
Romeo Must Die.
Yeah, Romeo Must Die. It's
incredible.
He hated that movie.
Incredible.
No. Listen to the story. Listen to the story. He hated that movie because there's a flashback where two kids are in the sea, like trying to survive, and they're holding a basketball. And he goes, "That basketball could have not existed during that time. That movie sucks because of that." So that's how
your friend Ryan Higgins.
No, but that's only how I compare Ryan Higgins' analogy of it.
And I had another problem with the Extremis stuff earlier in the movie when they show, and Brock, we were talking about this before the podcast a little while earlier. They show the guy like at the Man Chinese Theater like a fucking junkie, like he'd already had this stuff, but he didn't have it, and then he fucking randomly blows up, even though it's the first time he's ever used the Extremis armor.
No, he didn't use. No, he's used it in the past. He just needed to get.
He was
more
already
so
glowing before he took it.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Did you watch this movie?
Yeah.
You need to watch it a second time, and we'll have another podcast about
Keep
it.
your eyes and ears open.
If he would have blown up, he would have blown up the first time he used it. That is what they've said throughout the entire rest of the movie.
Well,
no, he overdosed on it. That's why he blew up.
No.
What?
They
what do you mean no?
They do
He
talk
overdosed
about
while he's sitting there?
a certain
'cause he took a
amount
hit.
of control that they kind of have to have not basically when they kept talking about regulating and
yes, exactly.
being able to basically.
You need to fucking see this movie again, bro.
Okay, can I just mention also some other thing for all of our women listeners? There's like 3 of you out there. Hey, how you doing, girls? Hello.
Now
Pepper Potts.
Really?
Pepper Potts.
Now we lost
dude,
three.
Can I just say that Pepper Potts okay, and we talked about extremists, and she could just control that shit like no problem. I got this. Handle it. That was fucking awesome. She had like a little She-Hulk moments.
That
and
was pretty awesome.
When he puts the armor on her and she saves his life.
That was cool because that was like almost like rescue.
Awesome.
That was almost like rescue.
You know what would have been better?
What?
If she became rescue instead of this fucking random She-Hulk thing for 5 minutes at the end. Why wasn't she in the?
But
the whole
that's
movie?
harder to sell to the Hollywood fucking screenwriters and showrunners.
It's like you're trying to find
When she
problems
put on
with
the
it.
armor, I was like, yes, and then she takes it off, and then she never wears it again, and I'm like, oh,
She doesn't take it off, dude.
Because Pepper is powerful
watch
enough.
This movie?
it gets taken off her.
Yeah. So
Pepper is
what?
powerful
What is
enough.
this fucking
Tony is
argument?
master at taking stuff off women, not putting them on.
I know.
Tony puts it on her, takes it off her, and
Did you
doesn't
hear
put
Pepper
it back on
saying
her.
to other girls, if you have
until the
fights,
very
give
end fight
blowjobs, don't
scene.
fight them?
What's that? One more time.
I'll tell you after.
Okay. No, say it again. That sounded good.
So Gwyneth Paltrow, I guess she told her girlfriends instead of fighting your man, you should just give blowjobs instead.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
See, look, it got the whole room quiet. Look at that.
Look, Iron Man
Thank you,
3
Gwyneth.
was not a bad movie.
No, it's fucking amazeballs.
It had a couple good action scenes.
It was very enjoyable. It was
It had
very
a couple.
solid.
I think it had a couple good action scenes, but overall,
And
I
if-
was
Overall,
very
it just
disappointing.
sucks.
According to Ryan.
Very
According to
disappointing.
Ryan.
Yeah.
So, but if
Everybody
fucking
else likes it.
According to 80% of critics on Rotten Tomatoes, it was actually fucking legit good.
According to Ryan, it sucks. According to Brock, it didn't mean anything at all. And to the rest of us, it was awesome.
Charlie and I were talking, and Charlie brought up a good point in that the Marvel Universe movies are kind of starting to get too big to fail.
Yeah.
Where was
We talked
Shield?
about this.
Where was
Who
Thor?
cares? I'm
Where was
actually,
Cap?
I'm
don't need
actually.
Shield.
and I loved how
actually-
they kept referencing New York. They very easily could
No.
have skipped over the whole Avengers thing, but he kept it in, and
yeah.
his panic attack,
Hold on.
humanizing Tony once
Hold
again.
on.
Yes.
Hold on.
That
I'm almost
actually-
done, Ryan. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you going to interrupt me?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Go ahead.
I am. That actually brings up a whole other point that I didn't even think about talking. That I was going to talk about that I forgot to mention entirely.
You hated the attacks.
As someone who suffers from panic attacks, I felt that was very not inappropriate, but very mishandled. So.
Do you have
What
panic
fucking
attacks?
capacity?
I do. Yeah,
When?
I take
Whenever you
medication
think so
for
in
them.
New York.
Yeah, but I've long since suffered from
Whenever you think of Marvel.
You know, from it's not like
yeah.
stress
Okay,
related
so
normally. It's
it was
just
poorly handled in what
I felt-
capacity? Can you
I
give
felt-
us a single?
I felt that it was just not handled.
Well,
but it's
okay,
Hollywoodized,
that's sort of
so
a-
it didn't really
Sure.
bother me too much. But it was
Hollywoodized.
but it
That's your
just didn't
argument?
feel.
but
The Hollywood movie Hollywoodized.
I wasn't
something? That's-
offended. It just didn't.
It's he was sleep deprived, which when they were doing the sleep deprivation, I was like, okay, I can understand sleep
Yeah,
deprivation.
I
I
can
can
understand
understand.
that too.
No, it's because of his nightmares.
No,
He
but
fucking
that's
had
the thing-
nightmares
but
about that
that's the
shit.
thing is I can
Right, yeah.
understand the sleep
Yeah.
deprivation.
So far, so good for me.
But when they go and they just let's slap panic attacks in there. They just kind of slapped.
What?
They didn't slap
They
anything in
slapped
there.
There was
ailment
nothing
there.
was
Dude,
slapping.
it was a human hero against a fucking Norse god.
But that's
well,
the
they
thing
partnered with fucking this
Yeah,
like,
fighting
legend
fucking crazy
that's like
aliens
a
coming from a
superhero.
Die.
hole in the
Yeah,
sky.
dude, Iron Man fucking like he was like the hero
Okay,
of Avengers.
Is
you
it
know,
panic
but
attacks
he
or is it sleep deprivation or is
Well,
it post traumatic
got his
stress
best friend that
disorder?
turns into a giant
why can't
green
they be related?
monster.
Well,
It's all
that's-
connected.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. It's like they set it up for PTSD, but it like they sort of manifested it in a few different ways. And like I said, I'm not offended by any of it. It just didn't ring true to me. So that's something else.
But, you
I
know,
don't know.
going back that there's no shield and stuff, I actually thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah,
they
because
weren't in the
it's
movie.
Iron
I was
Man.
like really kind of looking forward to how they're gonna pull this off after all these crossovers, after all this stuff.
Yeah.
How they're gonna do a personal
The
story.
movies were quickly becoming like a lot of
Yeah.
Shield subplots, and
Yeah,
it was refreshing to not have Shield in it.
Exactly, and for
for
once there's
fucking
no
20
other.
minutes of the movie.
And even the end scene there wasn't a lead way to another movie.
I wish
just
it
like-
was, but
No,
No,
didn't
but I
like
liked it.
It was
But,
refreshing.
yeah.
And let's be honest, Avengers. It should have been called Iron Man and the Avengers. That would have been a better fucking title.
no,
No.
I disagree with
but
All right, guys.
No, like,
Charlie, bring us home,
that.
man.
I hate that.
so the thing about the Shield question,
Charlie's going to bring us home with
I
this.
completely agree that they should have been represented to some degree, considering the terrorist angle, which is
how about-
specifically what Shield
is
is supposed to be.
Or have them trying to
Like-
hook up with Tony with a psychiatrist and him going no. And
Can
that
I
could be
just-
the end of it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna override Charlie here for a second. Can I if there was a movie where the fucking Mandarin and his 10 rings, quote unquote, of terrorists attacking the United States, and fucking Shield and Iron Man have to go in and fucking save the day, Man, that sounds like such an awesome movie.
Dude, that's a fucking way longer movie than
I
a
didn't
2.5
make it
hour
that
movie.
No, 2.5 hour movie. You got to keep it 2.5 hours.
You know what I really like
Your
about
movie
our,
you're talking about is a fucking.
That's a 3 hour.
miniseries.
That's a Bollywood movie.
you know what I've liked about
We're gonna
our
need
whole-
fucking black pages in between that shit.
You know what I liked about our whole Iron Man discussion is the fact that we haven't talked about the fact that Iron Patriot does jack
Does
shit
jack
in this
shit.
film.
Well, because we don't give a fuck about Don Cheadle. We want fucking.
Yeah.
We want that other fucking nigga back.
Don
What's his
Cheadle.
name?
Top
Who's that
5
guy?
worst casting of Marvel
Howard-
Studios.
How we want
movies,
Howard
Don
Trent.
Cheadle is,
Yeah.
is
Terrence
right up there.
Howard.
Terrence Howard. We want Terrence Howard back.
Terrence Howard back.
I even think that he wasn't
Please.
such a strong choice.
Ah,
but
he
I would
was.
still
He was
have him
fucking
rather than
gold.
Don Cheadle.
Yeah,
fucking
Iron
gold.
Patriot was 2 jokes and gets fucking punked, and I mean he's okay when he's not in
Yeah,
the armor,
somewhere
but
Harry Osborn is laughing to his grave.
yeah, so I don't know. All right,
Isn't he
guys,
still alive?
we
It's
gotta-
still cool to have that though. To have Iron Patriot on the fucking
Fine.
cellular screen.
He's laughing in the
Like,
jail cell. And
We all
Amazing
know
Spider-Man.
how evil that
Exactly.
shit is.
So when Winter Soldier shows up and makes 2 jokes and then gets fucking punked by Red Skull and Captain America 2, you're gonna be okay with that?
Dude, that's not going to happen.
Pretty sure there's not going to be any
But, you
Red
know,
Skull.
we're-
in
you
Winter
know what I mean.
Soldier
The-
is going to be
the Mandarin
fucking
thing, though. I can
legit.
understand
Yeah, it's
how
gonna be sick.
comic book
Isn't
people
the
are
movie
so
called
mad.
Winter Soldier? This
Well-
movie wasn't called Iron Patriot.
No, but the thing about the Mandarin thing that, at least for me personally, causes me a certain amount of nerd rage is I don't care if they had done it with the rings being technology. I don't care if he equipped himself with fucking gauntlets that allowed him to, like, I don't care how they did it. I was
You just
kind of
wanted
looking.
them to stay true.
I wanted to see the Mandarin on the screen, and the only thing that kind of curbs my nerd rage to a degree is I don't feel like I've seen, even though they kind of promised me I'd see the Mandarin
Yeah,
on
the
screen.
Mandarin was not in that movie.
Yeah,
in any
the
way, shape, or
Mandarin was
form.
not in that movie.
But we
and
don't want to
therefore I
see a fucking totally
that's like seeing a Batman
stereotypical,
Nope.
stereotypical Fu Manchu.
But that's what we're
fucking,
saying.
Yeah.
You know, because that shit is, dude, that shit will get people pissed off,
But
and we
that's
don't want
what-
to see
no,
that shit.
But that's what Charlie's saying. In Batman Begins, Ra's al Ghul, either one of those guys passed as Ra's al Ghul for me. They didn't have fucking what's his face. Oh my god, who played him at the very beginning?
Ken Watanabe.
Watanabe.
Watanabe. They didn't have him walking off and making some fart jokes or something like that afterwards.
Jesus.
Because
He- I
Batman
keep
has
going
never
back to
been
it.
a jokey movie, dude.
But what I'm
Iron
saying
Man has
is
always been about the
But
jokes.
here, hold
Hold
on.
on.
I got a point.
the way they played both of those characters, though, I had no problem with the reveal, and that's why I have such a problem with the reveal
Well,
in Iron Man.
here's the difference, right? In Batman Begins, you have Ra's al Ghul in the movie either way, right?
Right.
In this movie, it's like going to see Batman versus Joker and going, haha, that's not actually the Joker. It's like this puppet of this other guy.
If it was fucking like
Dude, I
Tweedledee and
I never
Tweedledum,
made that connection.
I totally
if
disagree.
if the Joker's henchmen were Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and suddenly Tweedledum is like,
That's the
"No,
Mad
I've-
Hatters, bro.
I've
That's the
been-
Mad Hatters."
Whatever. I've been the Joker the whole time. This Joker is just a guy. I'm the Joker. What the fuck? That's
for-
for Toby. Perfect example.
I think for me the hardest part was the human bomb aspect of it. Of these people are going off reminded me of Fraction's early run of Iron Man after the first film came out.
Yeah,
right. Where
well, that was all
that was
still.
all
yeah.
still stuff that was coming into it, but they took that and then they threw it away on, like you said, this kind of smoke screen with the Mandarin character and hiding it. And the thing is
See-
but then they take Extremis, right? And the only good issue that I liked in the first of the Marvel Now Iron Man was the one where it was the little girl that was dying. And dealing
I
with the
totally
Extremis
lost
stuff.
Brock somehow on all of this.
Well, no, the thing is it's like they took all these small little components of tons of Iron Man stories and
Movies
gave
always
us.
do that.
They do.
And even TV shows do. Look what they
Yeah,
did with Game of
very true.
Thrones.
They do that.
And I love
but
it
the
still.
Thing is
Young Justice.
with
Yeah, Young Justice.
Like Ryan said, if you're gonna take something and tweak it a little bit, take something solid. Give us something a little bit more. I mean, yes, we're gonna see the origin story of Superman yet again when Man of Steel comes out, but it's how they give us that origin story.
It really sucks, Brock, that you didn't enjoy the film. For most of us around the world, 80% on fucking Rotten Tomatoes. That's a high rating.
It is almost
I love
80%.
how you keep bringing up the rating.
83%, dude. Fucking that was Iron Man 1. 80%
Just so you
for
know,
fucking Iron Man 3.
mass herds of people are stupid.
I agree.
Like
You
Ryan
heard it here
is.
first,
Yes,
ladies
they
and
are.
gentlemen. 80% of the world is stupid, and Brock is not.
At least 80s right now.
See,
All right, guys, but we do need to wrap up. So, Charlie, was there?
I was just going to say,
You actually can't take us home.
I generally choose to believe that there's two things that could have happened in this movie that would have appeased me Mandarin-wise, hands down. One, if they acknowledged that he stole the name from some sort of legend or something that existed
That
out
would
there.
be cool.
So basically there's a Mandarin boogeyman that he basically co-opted the identity of, I would have been fine with that.
Yeah, I would have bought that.
Or if they would have revealed the Mandarin pissed that somebody stole his identity at the end of the movie, I would have liked that too.
Yeah, that would have worked too because identity theft is a common thing.
Or,
I don't know.
Or Guy Pearce.
Either of those.
How about if Guy Pearce was putting on like the rings at the end and put on the green coat?
No.
So they start growing out facial hair.
Yeah.
All right.
The extremist turns him into...
We're gonna wrap up.
Into Iron Fist.
Send us your thoughts. You can send us your thoughts
an awesome movie.
on Iron Man 3.
Watch it again and again. Oh, and go buy Superman Unbound tomorrow so we can get more fucking awesome DC anime.
Yeah, hell yeah. Send us emails at thecomicconspiracy@geekbox.net. We'll maybe read a bunch of those next week, see what you guys thought of Iron Man 3.
Such a liar.
Send Ryan emails to go see Iron Man 3 a second time so that he can understand that it actually was a good movie.
I am not opposed to seeing it again after talking with Charlie, who, again, like, going in a second time with more of an understanding, I will probably enjoy it a little bit more.
I don't even think that anyone is arguing that it's the best one except for Omar. I just think that it was very solid.
I'm not saying I don't want to see this movie again.
We will continue this conversation as the days and weeks and months progress. But we do have to wrap up.
Like Iron Man, the Iron Man 2. Like,
Okay.
I saw it again.
Okay.
Eat shit.
It's really good.
I saw it again,
and it was as good the
and
second time.
If you see it standing alone by itself without watching Iron Man first and then going into it, it's not bad. But if you're watching in the sequence, that's when it falls drastically.
I disagree. Go ahead, Ryan.
www.geekbox.net is where you can go to find all these episodes, as well as comicsconspiracy.biz. We're all there. We'll talk more. We'll talk more if we get the emails. Forums at geekbox.net. You can go talk to us. Tell us how much you liked or disliked Iron Man 3. There's a comic forum on there and a podcast forum. You can go talk to us on there. We're all on random things. Brock's at conspiratobrock.com. Go read his blog. Comics Antikine is Omar's website. And the Infinite Long Box is Charlie's other podcast. InfiniteLongBox.com.
It's a horrible sound.
Where they actually read all their comics every week.
They do. They actually talk about them.
Dude, between Free Comic Day and all the crap that's been going on, I'm ridiculously behind on my books.
You're in the 13s, right?
No, I'm talking like my current, like what stuff I read here too. I'm weeks behind on that.
Did you read Jupiter's Legacy yet?
No, not yet.
Because we're all waiting for your opinion on that one.
Oh yeah, well I'll talk about it.
There's a great book with Frank Wiley.
Frank Wiley, it's good stuff. We're all on Twitter. Ryan Higgins, Ryan. Brock Sager. Comics Antikine is Omar. Larsen Bryce is Bryce Larsen. Toby XI is Toby. Insanity and Chaos is Charlie. Brock's having a baby, so everyone wish Brock's
It's tomorrow.
baby's mama.
We're going to be induced.
Hope it goes well.
I gotta give a shout out to the Bulls.
Are they in heat?
They pull it out. They pull it out of the heat.
I know.
Yeah. So congrats to the Bulls with no superstars, with like half their starters being hurt and guys throwing up in trash cans, so they still would beat the guys.
Yeah, D Rose, don't come back. We don't want another fucking Agent Zero.
No, I kind of want him to come back. I want him. Yeah, I kind of want him.
How
to
did
come
this
back in
become the
series.
sports conspiracy?
It doesn't.
We take
All right.
over.
Is there anything else? I think that's
Big
it.
wow.
We could do the
gonna have a
TO or
table.
OT show.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a table at the Big Wow Con in San Jose, which is gonna be a couple weeks from now. So go to that. Stan Lee's gonna be there.
Come and get-
Olivia's gonna be there. Neil Adams is gonna be there. Some cool
We'll get
names.
Ryan Higgins' autograph. He'll sign anything you want to.
Oh my God, Zoe Saldana has been greenlit for fucking Guardians of the Galaxy.
what
We
the
didn't
fuck?
talk about that last
Where you
week.
been? Where you been? Where you been?
You guys talk about that
Where you
last
been?
week? No,
Where
I
you
didn't
been?
hear it.
They did not, but
that's
that is
that's
exciting.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my wife. Thank you.
She's just only going to do space-related movies.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And I guess we're done. I guess Star Trek's the next big one we'll talk about. So that should be a few
What
weeks.
are you talking
Superman.
about? No,
Huh?
it's Fast and Furious 6, yo.
Yeah.
Vin Diesel jumping off a tank.
I think they lost me at Drift. Which one
Dude,
was
Drift
that?
is the best one.
Is that 4?
That's 3.
No, that was
That's the
three.
best
They
one.
lost me at Drift too, but dude, 4 and 5 were legit.
All right. Well, maybe we'll talk about that. If you liked it, you should go listen to the All Talk Watches Fast and Furious podcast. You can listen to their thoughts on all those. Toby would like that. And you could be on the next episode with them. All right. Talk to you guys next week.